Welcome to this comprehensive guide on one of Go's most distinctive and powerful features, multiple return values. Unlike many programming languages that limit functions to returning a single value, Go allows functions to return multiple values simultaneously. This feature is not just a convenience, but a fundamental part of Go's design philosophy that promotes explicit error handling and cleaner code architecture. Multiple return values are extensively used throughout the Go ecosystem, making them an essential concept for any Go developer to master. Today, you'll discover how this unique pattern revolutionizes error handling and makes your code more robust and readable. Let's start with the fundamental syntax for creating functions that return multiple values in Go. The key difference from single return functions lies in the function signature. Instead of specifying just one return type, we use parentheses to group multiple return types. In our example, the divide function takes two integer parameters, a and b, and returns two values, an integer result and an error. Notice how the return types are enclosed in parentheses and separated by commas. When we implement the function, we use conditional logic to handle the division by zero case, returning 0 and an error message. For successful division, we return the calculated result and nil for the error. This pattern of returning a result alongside a potential error is the cornerstone of Go's error handling philosophy. Now that we understand how to create functions with multiple return values, let's explore how to call and handle these functions. When calling a function that returns multiple values, Go requires us to assign each returned value to a variable. We use the walrus operator := for short variable declaration and assignment. In the first example, both the result and error are captured in separate variables, result and error. This allows us to check if an error occurred before proceeding with the result. Go also provides the blank identifier, represented by an underscore, which allows us to ignore specific return values when we don't need them. This is particularly useful when you only care about certain returned values and want to explicitly ignore others, making your code's intent clear. The most common and idiomatic use of multiple return values in Go is the error handling pattern. This pattern involves returning both a result and an error from functions, allowing callers to explicitly check for and handle potential failures. The standard approach is to immediately check if the error is not nil after calling the function. If an error exists, we handle it appropriately, which might involve logging, returning the error to a higher level, or taking corrective action. Only after confirming there's no error do we proceed to use the returned value safely. This explicit error handling makes Go programs more robust and predictable compared to languages that use exceptions. The pattern encourages developers to think about potential failure cases and handle them gracefully. Go offers an additional feature called named return values, which can make your code more self-documenting and readable. Instead of just specifying types in the return statement, you can assign names to the return values directly in the function signature. In our calculate function example, we name the return values sum and product, both of type integer. These named parameters act as regular variables within the function scope. We can assign values to them directly using the equals operator. At the end of the function, we can use a naked return statement, which automatically returns the current values of the named return variables. This approach is particularly beneficial for functions with multiple return values of the same type, as it clearly indicates what each returned value represents without requiring comments. One of the powerful aspects of Go's multiple return values is the ability to return different data types from a single function. This flexibility allows you to create functions that return complex combinations of data that would otherwise require custom structures or multiple function calls. In our parse user function example, we return three different types: a string for the name, an integer for the age, and a Boolean for the active status. This demonstrates how Go's type system accommodates diverse data combinations elegantly. Functions can return any combination of Go's built-in types or custom types, making it possible to efficiently bundle related information together. This capability is especially useful when processing data that naturally comes in mixed formats, or when you need to return both data and metadata from a single operation. When working with multiple return values in Go, following established best practices ensures your code remains clean, readable, and maintainable. First, and most importantly, always place the error as the last return value. This convention is universally followed in the Go community and standard library, making your code predictable for other developers. Use named return values when they significantly improve code clarity, especially for functions returning multiple values of the same type. However, avoid returning too many values from a single function. If you find yourself returning more than 3 or 4 values, consider using a struct instead. Always handle errors immediately after function calls, rather than deferring error checking. This practice prevents bugs and makes your error handling explicit and obvious to anyone reading your code. Multiple return values represent one of Go's most distinctive and powerful features that sets it apart from many other programming languages. This feature provides an elegant solution for error handling, eliminating the need for complex exception mechanisms while keeping error handling explicit and predictable. Named return values enhance code readability by making function intentions clear without requiring additional documentation. The ability to return multiple different data types from a single function promotes efficient and clean code architecture. Most importantly, Go's multiple return values encourage explicit error handling, leading to more robust and reliable software. By mastering this feature, you'll write more idiomatic Go code that follows the language's philosophy of clarity, simplicity, and explicit error handling. This pattern is fundamental to Go programming and will serve as the foundation for building reliable, maintainable applications.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.